All right, welcome, everyone. So today, this is our first episode of Project Creation, and I'm so happy to be here. I can't really wait to talk about Ashes and all the fun things Ashes of Creation has for the community and us, and everything that they're doing over there at Intrepid Studios. It's a really cool thing. But today, I am joined with two guests, and we'll be the guests on the show for the remainder of the time as long as we want to do this. We are missing a guy today, but usually there's going to be four of us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce. I got Mr. Malator. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, good. And then I got the famous Mr. Thogley. How are
Hello.
you? How's it going, guys? Yeah. So what's everybody been up to? Give the fans a little background of what you guys been playing and doing, and an update. Whoever wants to start it
Well,
off.
yeah, I'll go ahead. Mainly just any free time that I have anymore. I just been touring around on World of Warcraft, playing RuneScape on the side, usually mobile while I'm at work or at my computer at work. I'll also play while I'm doing other things. But yeah, it's just mainly been those two games. I've been dabbling in League of Legends as well with my girlfriend, but that game makes me too angry for me to play on a constant basis. Oh, um, but yeah, that's really all I've been up to, waiting for AOC to come on out.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Thog?
Man, I've been a little bit of everywhere to be honest. um, we have a lot going on. We have World of Warcraft that we've delved into. We're doing total war competitions, just battles that we do. Um, we're also doing some PvP stuff in WoW just to get used to different aspects with the new folks that we have going on, and we're going to be probably starting up a ARC server. So there's a
Wow.
lot
Okay.
down
Yeah.
the pipeway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you guys got your hands tied.
Oh yeah.
But like since you guys are both playing WoW, and I was playing WoW for a little bit too when the expansion actually came out. What do you guys feel that is like? How it's doing in the time, I guess, of the longevity of the game, and like how you guys see Ashes following that, like in 10, 15 years. I know it's to jump ahead a little bit, but in 10, 15 years, do you think Ashes will kind of have that sickness, that WoW sickness that everybody has, It just constantly gets
And
pulled back.
I think that if if they deliver on a lot of what they have kind of put out there, I think it'll stay around for quite a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Mal?
Yeah, I agree. I think with if whatever the developers are saying when it comes to the game, if they truly deliver all of that and what they say and what they stand for, I really think World of Warcraft and any other MMO that's out right now or coming out soon really has some competition. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I would. Man, I was trying to work this out. I would say Ashes is probably the top of the food chain, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like it's going to be the probably the hit MMO. I think there's going to be a lot of
Mhm.
comparisons to World of Warcraft with it, and I think that the kind of the AAA quality that it's going to be going for. I think it's going to, if not, really, really damper WoW servers in World of Warcraft, and I feel like Blizzard kind of feels that in a way, they get in that tension. That's why I feel that they pushed out this last expansion. And I really feel that that's the last expansion with World of Warcraft. I could be wrong, but we know Blizzard, they like to milk everything.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
yeah, and it's so we'll have to see on that. But I feel that the Ashes of Creation is spearheading the whole MMO genre right now. opposed to all the other MMOs coming out. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have to
believe
say
so as
so.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even put it in a comparison to any other MMOs. And not like I got some really good favorites too that are coming out, but I just feel Ashes is just gonna kind of shit on them all, you know.
I
Well,
am
I mean,
excited.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mel.
No, go ahead.
Well, I am excited to see kind of what New World does.
Hmm.
But yeah, I just think overall, Ashes will be spearheading a different type of MMO, and will give that kind of rebirth to the genre for at least a short time. Because you know how MMOs work out. Sometimes people get on that bandwagon, and the next thing you know, it's just don't want to play it no more.
Yeah, I know how it is, and it's hard to get off too, you know.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mel?
Yeah, I was actually just gonna mention New Worlds. Even though New Worlds is one of the newer MMOs that's coming out here pretty soon, I believe. I think it doesn't even scrape the surface of what AOC has got going on right now.
Yeah, I just feel that the things you're gonna do in AOC is there's so many more things to do in the game already. Because I don't know if you've played New World yet, Thog, but me and Mal have, and just the like there's some things to do in New World because it's not done. I don't think it's done, but yeah, just the things that we did in New World, it kind of got boring, I would say, after about 10 hours into the game, you know. But I want to say though, the PvP can be like, it's good, like it has the great foundation to it, but man, they really just need to keep nursing that thing and working on it because it's not finished.
Well, I mean, come on, honestly, they changed their game completely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
did a whole 180. So I feel
Yeah.
like anytime a developer does that, it's just gonna rock what the identity of that game is gonna be. So
Well, yeah, and like you kind of changed the player base too, you know.
Mhm.
You had full like because there's open world PvP, and just you can just go and which I'm really sad that they moved away from it, but they needed to in a way in order to kind of make it a great game. They needed to, for a great MMO per se. But yeah, I just feel that New World's very pretty, and it just needs more work, you know. And I don't think that they're almost, I would say that the closest comparison to the two is Ashes and New World, just on the type of MMO they are, with like the sieging of castles and towns and whatnot. You could do that a little bit in New World, but it's going to just be taken so much further in Ashes, you know, and I hope it's done better in Ashes than New World, but
I think it will be, man. Like, a big part of why I'm looking forward to it is because of that player agency and the fact that the hard work and the big time that, depending on what you choose to do, of course,
right.
but you put time into it, and you could do a lot.
Yeah, I know, and man, it just makes me think like, how many hours are we gonna just dump into this video game? You know,
I hope a lot.
like I gotta
Oh,
prepare
yes.
myself mentally before we do it. You know.
Right.
But yeah, let's go ahead. So I picked 10 burning questions that we can talk about on the show. And I want to do this for the remainder, or at least a good amount of time for the show, or for the podcast. And I think that we got some pretty solid 10 to start it out with for the first episode. But first question I have is, what first got you guys interested about AOC? Like, what was the driving force for you to want to choose this game as your game? Take it away.
I'll let you start, Thog.
Honestly, man, the biggest thing, and I hate to say it because it's something that everyone looks at, and it's the one thing that this game offers that no one has even touched, and it's the nodes, the
Mm.
player-made cities, the well, not technically player-made, but contributing to what cities are there. Like, there's not a storyline, there's things that as you as a player can do, you're going to create that, and I think that that is just the big one hook that got me into Ashes.
Yeah, I feel the nodes, man. The nodes really change the whole game, because there's so much you could do with the nodes,
Ugh, a lot.
and I like the premise of what Steven came up with it, but geez, I'm just thinking like you can really make nodes such a, because it's such a wheelhouse to the game, it's a driving force of why you want to play the game. How people interact with each other is all for your node. It's like your home. Like you got your home in the game and you defend your home, you attack other homes, you trade with other homes. It's life pretty much in this sense. They worked it out where it's life, and you can make your claim to that land and whatnot and stuff. And yeah, it's cool. What about you, Mal?
Um, I got into Ash's creation after watching a stream by Nixium, and yeah, I listened to him talk about it once, and I kind of just shrugged it off at first. But after watching another stream of his while he was talking about it, it got me interested, and I started doing my own research. And about that time was when I was looking for a different MMO to play. Um, and all the other MMOs like Final Fantasy and Black Desert Online, I tried them all, and something about it just wasn't there for me. But then when I did some research on AOC, everything about it just popped out to me and screamed like, "You have to play this."
Yeah.
So yeah, the nodes plays a big part. I like the contributing factor, and then just the crafting, the amount of things that you could do with that already, just off of the information, just
Yeah,
very
off the
much
wiki.
interests me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say that too. Crafting's a big thing, and without I feel like MMOs that don't have crafting aren't really MMOs. Like it's such a core component to an MMO, and I love crafting. I know a lot of people don't, but that mixed in with the node system, I think like they go hand in hand. Because you can create at your own place of leisure. So. Yeah, that's really cool. And for me, at least, what it got me interested about AOC probably was the 64 classes, dude. I looked at that and I was like, what? Yeah, I'm definitely going to play this game. But and when it came down to it, it was really hard for me to choose which class I want. And I still kind of don't know. But that mixed in with the open world PvP type, that really jived with me pretty well. So I would say those two. And if we look at it, like Ashes is going to revolve around three things: PvP, PvE, and crafting. And if one of those things MMO players love to do, you're going to probably like the game, and if they're all done well, per se. But yeah, so PvP is my thing. I know, Mal, you love your PvE. I do as well, but I know that that's your main thing. And I don't know. What about you, Thog? What's between those?
Man, usually, so when I first started WoW, I was big into PvP, but then all the stuff changed. And so I tried my hand at PvE. It was all right. I didn't mind it back in Wrath. Because to me that was one of the best times to get into the PvE scene. But overall in games, I just really like, in general, being able to create something that I could do myself,
Right.
and be able to say, "Hey, I made that. That was me."
Right. Yeah. So you'd say crafting then for yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Fair enough. Like crafting's such a fun thing too, because you spend hours grinding for the materials, and then you actually can make the cool things with those materials and and components of the recipes and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Those three things I feel that is just gonna done well, which I think that they will, but done well, I know that it's really gonna make things fun. And it's within each subject of that. Like, we know how crafting is just taken so far, in the amount of different crafts you can do. And which is a new thing that they implemented is animal husbandry. And I feel that I haven't played anything animal mixing since like Zoo Tycoon, maybe, or like Impossible Creatures, if you guys remember that back in the day, where you can mix creatures and stuff. Strategy game, super fun. But yeah, man, you can. I feel like that's just gonna be so crazy, the amount of stuff and fun with what they're gonna be doing with animal husbandry. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next question. What type of character do you guys intend on playing and why? Class specifics. So this is going to be a dive into the classes or your class if you've researched it or know much about it or what have you. But anyone, go ahead.
When I first started getting into AOC, I definitely wanted to be a high priest. It's just the healing support role that I mainly always play in any MMO. However, my stance on it has changed recently. Now that I've kind of strayed away from that healer support role into a more damage support role. And so I did do a little bit of digging. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of information on it, but I'm leaning more towards a tank hunter class.
Oh,
you
went a little 180 on that one, but
yeah,
yeah, that's totally different. If you guys didn't know what the high priest is a cleric and a cleric mixed together. And Ashes of Creation is a base class, and then your alternate class or your secondary class.
Yeah, I believe it's I think it's a warden is what it is.
What your new one you wanted to go? So you wanted to go tank and Ranger?
Yep.
Yeah, warden. Yep. Yeah, that could be real cool. I don't know how they would do it though. Like, would it tank from ranged? Would it do ranged up close? I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. There's not too much information on it, so I'm not quite sure on how that's gonna play out. But the way I imagine it is you're just a really beefy ranged person, or maybe you're able to step back and still do a little bit of range. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would like to see a beefy ranger,
Yeah.
That'd be real cool. Because then, I think it would pay tribute to all the rangers in the game that die very easily. They can actually have some stability.
They don't have to be a glass cannon.
Yeah, they don't have to go glass cannon. They are the cannon. What about you, Thog?
Man, I've been contemplating this one so bad.
Why you can't decide?
There are so many things I want to try,
Right. Yeah.
I just see a lot of good class makeups there, and I think though what I might settle on is either a keeper or a brood warden. That whole tank summoner tank thing. I think I might want to do kind of that. It's different,
Okay.
Kind of new.
Yeah, that's very new. It's fun. It's fun to mix classes too, because you're just like, what possibly could this be? Like, you think in your mind like it's gonna be this, but it's like could be totally different, And it's that surprise element. So you said tank and a summoner, which is a keeper, and a summoner and a tank is a brood warden. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think differ between those two?
Man, so what I'm thinking is, so like with the tank summoner, I'm thinking he could like summon some like shields up, or I don't know,
Mm.
some weird
Oh, you think
different.
he's yeah, okay. So you think he's gonna summon more like swords and spiritual weapons and stuff like that.
Maybe,
Or
but
maybe like a Death Knight on World of Warcraft.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Like a
which
Death Knight.
doesn't the Death Knight spawn like some creatures and stuff and whatnot?
Mhm.
One
One
spec
creature.
does.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to see how they do the Brood Warden. Having a summoner there with a tanky animal just out there, that would be pretty neat.
Yeah, that would well, yeah, that might be the way the summoners what the dictates the summoner's pet is what they mixed with, you know?
Mhm.
Like they mix with a tank and that brood warden is I don't know, like you get a big tank guy, but you're like I'm trying to feel how like the name brood warden fits into the
And the first thing I think of is spiders.
That's what I thought, right? Like or like some alien type of creature. But like a
Yeah, I
brood
was
is
thinking
like
StarCraft 2.
yeah, StarCraft 2. That's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah.
StarCraft 2, all the brood mothers and shit.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, they could have a lot of fun with that in fantasy, you know, because they could
Oh,
take it to
definitely.
however length that they want. But I mean, maybe you're like a tanky, like spider type of summoning thing.
Maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
Not so much on the spider aspect, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's really hard to tell at this point. But yeah, for me, what got me interested, or sorry, what my favorite type or what the type I want to go for my character is it's hard, dude. I got like a few, but if I can narrow it down, I want to do a fighter tank spec, which is the dreadnought, which I feel will be a good PvP class. Up in the front lines PvP class. And then but also I'm thinking I want to mix it with a little heals. So I was thinking fighter cleric and going a high sword cuz you know, everyone knows DPS plus heals might be a little overpowered, you know? So it's hard to
Yeah,
tell. It's hard to tell. And
but
go ahead.
I think that when you do like a DPS with heals, that their DPS is gonna be like little pew pews instead of big cannons.
Right. Yeah, they could.
So
Or
it won't be like massive DPS on there, but
well, I'm thinking they also it's DPS first though, and then heals on the back end. So I don't know if you'll get a little life leech or life steal a little bit from your attacks. That's what I'm thinking. So if I can get some life steal, and then I can crank the damage meter up, it's gonna just be a ratio between crit chance and crit damage if that's a thing.
right.
And attack speed, and I feel like I can manage that on some stats. I've been playing like so when I normally go in MMOs, I usually go for a class that's melee, you know, primarily. And with Ashes, I don't know. Like I want to say I want to go a melee class, but I look at these other classes, and I'm liking a lot of the things that the rogues mixed with because they have all the shadow stuff, you know, shadow disciple, shadow mancer, shadow caster. They get like shadow blade with a fighter, you know, it makes that dark element, and since we're going orcs, you know, I feel like that mixes very well, you know. So
Yeah, I thought about a rogue class as well. After watching one of the streams about the different things that a class can do, and then hearing that a rogue can discover different dungeons or different side things to a dungeon, I really thought that would be pretty cool. So I did contemplate on a rogue class.
yeah, that's sweet. I didn't even know that they could find things, but that's awesome.
Yeah, apparently, I think it was Steven who said it, right, Mel? That it's good
Mhm.
to have a rogue in your party when doing dungeons and stuff.
Yeah, because they can just find all types
Yeah.
of shit.
They must have like an intuition type of stat that they can reveal in shows, kind of like Divinity. If you guys ever played Divinity,
Hmm.
you get this you get the chance to like reveal things hidden in the map and stuff. So that'd be really cool for like treasures and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to I know this is a big topic, but to balance all these classes and make it so that PvP is enjoyable. I don't even care if it's really that fair, and if there's a meta, whatever. But balancing all the classes like perfectly, I don't think that it's realistic. I just feel that when they do try to balance it, which they've said too, me and Mal have talked about this, but they're going to balance the base classes first, and then anything after that is just kind of like flavor to the class. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I
Uh,
kind of like the idea. Sorry, Mal, to cut you off.
no, it's okay. Go
um,
ahead.
I kind of like the idea of it not being extremely balanced. Um,
Right.
I
Me
would
too.
like to see a tank just get demolished by a rogue, like a
Mm-hmm.
straight up rogue.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you think
Hit that
typically in a lot of
backstab, you know?
MMOs, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You think of a lot of MMOs, you think of a tank and yeah, if they got heals, they're good. But because there's so many class choices, like being able to come up to like one type of person, be like, nah, that dude's gonna wreck me. No matter what I do, he's gonna wreck me. That's pretty neat to have that.
Yeah.
Hey, that dude's my weakness. You know.
Yeah. I agree. What were you going to say, Mel?
I was gonna say, back to our discussion a while ago. I think having those counter classes, like this class is probably going to counter yours in some way or fashion,
Mm.
and you have a slight disadvantage fighting this class versus a different one. I think that would be nice. Um, but as far
But
as balancing this, go
what
ahead.
would counter what though, you know?
Yeah, that is a question, and I don't know. I'm not the developer,
Yeah.
but uh, whatever he wants to do, he's gonna do it. Uh, but yeah, I really don't think it should be, you know, every class is balanced, so you're really just gonna have to depend on if your stats are a little better than the next person, or if
Mhm.
your play time is gonna differ from somebody else's, so you're a little better at the game. Having that sensibility of, well, I have a rogue and you have a mage, I can counter you. Just for example, I have that slight edge on you, so that'd be
Right.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really not opposed to hard counters. Like that could definitely work, but like so this makes me think at what point do you think the gear percentage takes effect? You know, like say you're twinked out on gear and this dude's not as twinked out, how much more does that gear work in your favor? You know, is it a high percent? Is it a high percent per class? Is it 60% of your gear will make a difference, or 40% of your gear will make a difference? You know, what do you guys think?
I would lean more towards like the 40
Right.
percent because I me personally, I hate nothing more than getting into a game and spending hours and hours into the game while somebody else just gets, carried through a bunch of bullshit, and then they have the best gear while you're sitting there still trying to grind for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, they can just come through and smack you even though they have 100 hours versus you have 300 hours into the game.
Right. Yeah, and they got carried to the top and stuff. Yeah.
It really kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
And you know, I've always had this argument with a lot of people on gear versus skill.
Right.
And
Yeah,
how
that's
well you
that's the
game.
question is gear versus skill, and
You know,
what's the meter?
it's hard though because to be honest, you have some people out there who are hardcore gamers, and that's what they do, and that's fine. I'm okay with it. We need those people around, to help us learn and to help us kind of get the edge up when we're coming across some people. Hey, those are the guys to go to. But I honestly think with just the way the game is looking, like just with the concept they have, there's gonna be a lot of skills stuff that's gonna kind of contribute to how you play the game, and it's not gonna be so much gear, because I mean, look at the distance of everything that's out there. You know, not every place is gonna get or not every server is gonna get the same type of dungeon. You know, just because of the way retros
Random.
build up.
Yep.
You know,
Very true.
not everyone's going to be able to get the same legendaries, and you know, when you're looking at it, yeah, the gear will offer its benefit, but I think what they're doing, just based off of, you know, how much time you put in, what you do, when you do get that gear, and if it is good and it's top tier kind of gear, you kind of deserve it. You know,
Oh,
because
yeah,
you
of
put
course.
that time in it. And I do agree with Mal, you know, on the whole, someone carrying you along, I don't think that's going to be able to be a thing. Because,
Power leveling.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really don't. Because in order to really get your levels, you have to put that time in. You have to be able to say, hey, we're contributing, we're doing it, you know, and that's where I see this game going. You know, power leveling, I don't think will be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't think it's going to be a big thing because I think it's going to be too hard to power level just because there'd be too many people out in the world trying to kill you. You know, there's too many factors, I feel, with power leveling. But if you can somehow pull it off, you know, I don't think the experience reward per in a group when someone's higher than you or whatnot. Did they say you can mentor down in this? There's no mentoring, I don't think, right? No.
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, but yeah, I maybe I'm hoping power leveling is not a thing, but like you actually have to play your character up, you know, and that just makes it better because you're still playing at the levels of other people too. You know, you're not if there's not just an influx, everybody rushes to the end, and then there's nobody to start a new character with. You know, especially 5 years down the road, like they have to create that balance between experience levels and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. It really is, and I hope that they don't take that route. You know, I hope that they stay more towards the fairness and how gear is going to be able to be scarce on each server and stuff. That's a good point. So. Let's go ahead to the next question. What is your 3 components you want for an MMO? So if you take an MMO outside of Ashes, what would be like the 3 core components you wish to, which was in your perfect MMO?
And that's to me that's easy one. It's content, community, and I know a lot of times it's storyline, because you can have a content and community, but without no story, without something there, usually that's what drives an MMO. But I think the way Ashes is going about it, just the players create that content. You know,
Right,
that's
yeah.
just ingenious. You know, they don't have to make that story. Then players are doing it. You know, so that's what I look for in MMOs.
Yeah, I feel that that's a big one. You know, players right in your world, and I feel that just makes it so much more fun as a player. But it's also fun, like if the stories are written and you discover the stories type of thing. But I like when the players make up their own story. It just makes for more fun, and the longevity of the game is just that much greater. But yeah, what do you think about you, Mal? What's your 3 core components for an MMO?
I would have to agree with the community. You know, a great community is always a big thing for an MMO. Having those people that you're able to communicate with and learn with is always a very big part of it. Along with the story is going to play a big part in any MMO, whichever you make. It's going to be huge. Lastly, for me personally, that I've been noticing with all the MMOs that we have now, this pay to win stuff is gotta go.
Yeah.
It's gotta go.
Yeah.
It drains me out of the game really quick.
Just pay to win kills you, but does pay for cosmetics kill you?
No, cosmetics doesn't make a difference in a gameplay. Like for example, with RuneScape, they have to pay for cosmetics and things like that, which is fine. That's whatever. But then you can also buy bonds in RuneScape where it gives you in-game money, so you can spend, I don't know, maybe it's a payday and you have $100 to burn, and so you drop it on RuneScape, get a bunch of GP, and now you can get a skill all the way to 99 within a couple days. Whereas someone who's grinding, it takes them about a few weeks to a month.
Right.
Same with World of Warcraft. They have cosmetics and mounts and things like that you can buy. You can change your character to a different server, change your name, change your race, whatever. That's fine. It doesn't make a huge difference in the game. But when you start implementing the in-game money and boost your character all the way from 1 to 60, that to me is a big killer right there.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know, I'm pretty sure Steven said it multiple times. He said it will not be pay to win, but pay to play, you know?
Yeah. Pay to play is one. I'm support that 100%. I'll pay to play
of course.
any game. Subscription fee has never been an issue, but
yeah,
once it starts making a difference in the gameplay to where it gives you a slight advantage, that's when I lose interest really quick.
Yeah, and we've seen games go from pay to win to dead within a few weeks, you know. As soon as something gets labeled pay to win in the community, it's done. You know, unless you change your model and you change and you start to make things free and whatnot, which happened with Star Wars Battlefront. I'm actually playing that again, but that was pay to win. And I didn't care at the time, but when people started to describe it to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that's kind of unfair. And they could just buy all their stuff, but it was behind loot boxes, so I mean, you don't really get it. You know, you have to spend a lot of money. If not everybody's gonna spend hundreds of dollars just to get the best stuff. You might get one guy, two guys to do it.
Yeah, true, but at the same time, it's scummy.
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean,
scummy.
If they allow it, people are gonna take advantage of it, regardless of what you do or not. You know, or whatever you think. But
you know there's going to be people out there that are just willing to dump thousands of dollars into that game just to do it. So
they are. Well, it's Star Wars too, you know, and people get super hard-ons for Star Wars. But yeah, it was, and then they made it all free and everything, and that's where it's at now. But for a while, the servers went dead until they made the game free on Epic, and then now they're like freaking outrageous, which is fun. But yeah, and I don't think Ashes will ever be pay to play or pay to win. Sorry. But the cosmetics, I've already spent a lot of money on the cosmetics, and I'm like, I'm not giving them any more of my damn money. So
yeah,
I mean, it's
a things is 100% okay. I mean, if you want to look cool and all that and have some bragging rights, go for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, let you.
But yeah, anything that gives you a slight advantage in the game, I think is just not cool.
I just hope that
stuff.
Yeah, and I just hope that not all the cool shit is behind the cosmetics.
Oh no, they definitely won't be, man.
You know,
you still have legendary stuff in game.
Yeah, that's true.
To go after,
right? You know? And if they're doing mythics and all that stuff, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I just don't want that because I've seen it. I've seen it in MMOs where the cosmetic system it becomes the main source of income for the game, and then they just start to just make cooler stuff for the people that play because they justify it through that, and that's fine. But I mean, I'm just for $20, $25 for like a skin, you know, that's a lot of money. It's like Fortnite with their whole scheme. But anyway. That's enough on that topic. So what would you? Oh, I didn't give my 3 core components. So my 3 core components for an MMO is I want community, number 1. So I think we can all agree on that. I think the main thing of an MMO is community, and I would say the mechanics of the game have to be good. That's another main driving force. And I feel that there should be a good PvP system in the game for me. I mean, I know it's not everybody's forte, but that's like a main thing that if a game kind of has shitty PvP, I probably won't play it very long. So, but then again, if it's just a PvE centered game, I probably would play it, but just not as frequently. You know, that's the PvP aspect really gets me hooked. And yeah, and you know that. So that's what I would feel that would probably be the main factors of the game, especially for Ashes. You know, not all games work well with PvP and PvE, but I know Ashes will. So based on how every spoke in the wheel is, it should be good. Now I'm gonna ask you guys a similar question, but what are the three core components you want for Ashes of Creation? So we asked for MMOs, but now for Ashes of Creation, are they the same? Are they different? And then just give a little bit of why and how.
Go ahead, Thug.
I think, and it's pretty much the same. Community being one, content being other. But the big thing for Ashes is making sure that node system works well.
Yeah.
That's because since they have a lot of it just focused on that node system, it needs to be top condition, with what their vision is, because they're using that as a big part of what the game is. So making sure that's all fleshed out, and that's a big part of what I think will make Ashes succeed.
Yeah, the nodes are carrying a lot of the heavy weight of this game for sure. And if they fuck that up, and it could destroy it. It might not even let it off the ground. So, 100% agree. But keep going. Was it just one?
Yeah, pretty much the nodes, along with the community and the content. Like the nodes, big one, nodes.
Yeah, fair enough. No, that's true. I agree with that. Mal, you got one yet? You got any?
Yeah. So I'm really interested to see how the crafting is really going to play out. I know that's been another big topic amongst people who are interested in the game. I'm myself included. I'm really interested to see what it's going to do towards your own character's development. Are you going to have certain buffs that you can get when you're crafting your own items versus going out and looting for gear and whatnot? Would it be beneficial to make your own stuff versus going out and doing it? I'm really interested to see how that's going to go. Along with trading, I'm really interested in that. Like with RuneScape and World of Warcraft, they have an auction house or the Grand Exchange. Will they have something similar like that, or you're going to have to go to node to node to node trying to sell your product and things like that, and make friends in order to trade stuff? Really interested to see how that's going to work.
What would you prefer on that? Would you rather see the node to node thing, or would you rather see like an overall community auction house exchange type?
I would definitely prefer the node to node thing. I think some nodes are going to be looking for certain things versus others. So, if you want to sell a bunch of resources to one node, they may not want it, but a different node is going to be saying like, "Hey, come on over, we'll buy it all from you."
Yeah.
So I think that would be really really cool to have, and it definitely encourages you to explore, which that's another big part of the game that I'm really interested in seeing. And lastly, I would go for the combat mechanics and seeing how that's going to play
Yeah, that's
out,
a big one.
'cause the reason why I keep coming back to World of Warcraft, even though I'm not all that serious into playing it anymore, the combat and the way you play the game is just so fluid and easy that it really plays a big part.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many things in the MMO in an MMO game that you forget about that are so vital, you know, of working.
Yeah, it's the smallest details.
It
You're just
is.
like, oh, you know, I took this for granted. Now I'm playing this game, and it sucks,
It sucks.
compared to the other one I was playing.
Yep. And then you find something you love about this and hate about the other one.
Mhm.
Yeah, but for the trade thing, yeah, I like how that would create the profit margin per node, you know, basis with that. And I feel that you might be able to sell a lot more yields that way versus somebody's, you just put it up. But I also like the convenience of just going to put my stuff on an auction house and I know it's going to sell because I know the market, you know?
Well, you know, that could also be like Albion, where you go to a different city, and whatever's selling in that city is going to differ from the other city versus their own market. So they'll have an auction house for the whole entire city, but you know, you could still take all
Right.
your stuff and go to a different place.
Right.
Also, so
So you guys would like to see like you could set up your own shop type,
yeah.
you know, like a little stall or a little vendor. You know,
Or even just go into trade chat and
or
try
trade
and get
chat.
away
Yeah.
from all that.
Good
Yeah.
old trade chat.
Yeah. Good old anal
That-
jokes in trade chat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it goes, but that's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. And I would even like to see like maybe some cities, and it's maybe based on the you know, area. So say you're more in the desert and you don't have trees by you, so trees are more profitable at that metropolis in the desert, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe that's even set by the governor of the town, you know, or the mayor of the town, whatever it is. And they can kind of increase or decrease that margin or that profit that traders will make on that. You know, that could be really interesting too. And you might just want to just play the game just doing trading too. You know, you never even realize that how much fun you can have and how rich you can get.
Yeah, definitely.
Good old economics.
Good. It's really, yeah. So I played economics. In my,
Yeah.
yeah, but I would say my three core components for what I want Ashes is definitely the community. That's still a main one. With PvP is a big one for me, but I've seen the PvP so far and I like it, but I want to see how the relationship between this soft opt-in PvP is going to work, you know, on a grand scale with everyone. Is it going to be griefing? Is it going to be, you know, people really just try to kill the corrupted in red? Will it just be more of people are just going to become combatants just because they want to fight each other, you know, and they just want a PvP in the middle of the town and you can, you know. I'm interested in to see how that's all going to play out. Plus the bounty hunters too, because that all comes into play, and then with no choice, which would then further come into play with that. But those two, and then yeah, I want to see how Mel, what you were saying with the combat, man. Because we've never, like, at least I've never played an MMO that had tab targeting and action combat. So what do you guys think with that?
Man.
Yeah, my thoughts are kind of all over the place with that. You know, I don't know how that's gonna play out.
Are you guys nervous that that's the choice for the game?
Yeah.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of my most things I fear about the game is that.
I feel like one is going to have more of an advantage over the other for the people who play that style.
Mm.
So,
And which would be what? Like, who would take advantage over the other?
man, it's hard because I feel like if you do action a lot, you're quicker on the draw. Especially if you know your character, you know their spells and how their composition is. I
So
feel like
that
that's gonna
skill
be a big,
basis, do you think
yeah,
that's
that's
where that skill is going to
exactly.
come in? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big one because tap targeting. I mean, it's kind of easier. I'm not gonna lie, I do it.
Right.
It's easier for me. Um, I just always had trouble with action.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like if you don't have the best computer too and the best connection, I feel that that's really going to hinder you on the action basis too. What about you, Mal?
No, I agree. I'm not I'm not into the action-based combat either. I'm mostly ever done tab-based, so um but I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be pretty easy to get back into or even to get into, and it might shock us. So I got high hopes for it still, but still nervous at the same time.
Yeah, which is something about the two that makes me interested in it, and is, I don't know if you guys seen, I forgot which live stream it was, but it was when Steven was kind of demonstrating the two combats, and he pressed Z and he flipped between the two. So is it going to be something that you're just going to do on the fly type of thing, and it's based on which ability you're going to want to do it with or can do it with? And also is, if you're doing manually aimed shots or manually aimed abilities versus a tab targeting that's 100% successful on hitting them, it's going to be interesting on how they're gonna work that, because I feel that the tab targeting definitely excels over the action combat in that, you know, like you might even be able to hit people behind a wall, you know, with the tab targeting if you're locked on them. But then again, when it's manually aimed, you might not. But maybe the manually aimed, you could shoot it a lot further than what you could even tab target the enemy with. So it's a huge question, and we're definitely going to dive more into it later in the coming podcasts. But that's something that we always have to keep on the front of our mind when we're dealing with a hybrid combat system, you know. And Steven said it though, if action combat and tab targeting don't work, you know, they're going to go back to just tab targeting. He prefers to go with tab targeting, which I agree with. But part of me loses, like, I still want that actionness too, because I feel that could be really fun in MMOs. Without even getting repeated, it just becomes skill at that point, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or repetitive. But yeah, that's something that we're gonna have to definitely gauge. So, and also what we're gonna have to see in Alpha 1. So, what are you guys looking forward to see in Alpha 1?
Nodes. Nodes is going to be the first thing that I would be wanting to check out and see how that's going to work. Having a better idea of that is definitely going to help out in the beginning portions of the game.
Right.
So I'm really interested in seeing that. And then of course that combat setting, that'd be really, really nice to see what we're looking at there as well.
Mm-hmm. Thog?
I think for me, it's going to be the classes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they're showing for the classes and kind of seeing how that might work out.
The abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we did see a lot of abilities that are all across the board, you know, like with the, you know, we just got the demonstration or the little trailer video of the cleric, and we saw a little bit of his abilities. And I don't know if healing's going to be hard in the game, just based on those abilities, it looked kind of a little bit challenging, but I like that there's a skill level to healing and it's not just easy heals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But because you've seen the where they fought the raid bosses, the 2 raid
Mhm.
bosses overlooking. Yeah. So if you watch the healing on that, I mean, it's more of like spot healing, and then there'd be like a big heal. The healers will be like a big heal, but then they'd be out of mana, and then they have to wait for mana, and then the next next mob spawned when after they killed it, and then Steven would have to nuke it again. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think abilities is a good one too, and classes. For me at least, I would like to see. Oh man, I just want to see the first glimpse of bunch of players getting in the game and doing something. What's like the first things to do, you know? Is it to establish the node? Is it to then start grinding on that node and working up mats, working it up to try and evolve it and making money and trying to evolve it? Or is it going to be like people just jump in there and start fighting each other, you know, with nothing? You know, you never know. But that's what I want to first see. And then also to see I want the alpha testers to break the game. You know, I want them to be able to really test. I know it's hard because it's an alpha test, but I want this alpha test to really test all their mechanics, test what they've been creating, test everything that, and if they break stuff that needs to be broken. That's a good thing, you know.
I feel like if you're a tester and you're breaking stuff, you're doing testing right.
Right? That's the whole game.
Okay.
All right. So what do you guys like and dislike about the last dev stream? So not this. So they just had one that either of any of us have seen. But we can go ahead and just talk about any that's really comes to memory or comes to your mind or really like made you go, oh, that's awesome, or what have you, or like, oh, I really don't like this, I don't want this to be in the game.
You know, I haven't really heard anything that I dislike to a point to where I really just don't want it in the game. There's been a few things that I've kind of thought about and just like, you know, I could live with it or without it. It doesn't make a difference to me. But I think the first thing that really popped to me, where I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, was definitely the rogue thing. You know, finding those little secrets and dungeons that nobody else can. I think it would be very valuable to have that rogue on your team and just have some value to your class in different scenarios.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see how that works, because rogues might be like the, you know, you need a rogue in your party if you want to do these dungeons. You need one, you know. Yeah, I'll definitely want to see on that. But Thug, what do you think?
Man, it's hard. It's a hard question because
Oh, my camera went out.
It's not necessarily something that I dislike, but the idea of the community coming to you and saying, hey, we need to take down your node because there might be a dungeon around it, or you need to build somewhere else, you know, to help us out. Like, I don't... And once the node's built, I kind of want it to stay.
Yeah.
I know that's going to be something that a lot of people, well, it won't stay because you're getting attacked or someone else, you know, leveled up above you, or it's getting raided or whatever. But that's one thing I'm just like, kind of chase my butt a little bit. I'm not going to lie about it.
Right. Like you don't want all your stuff, your baby that you've created for the last 3 months just to be coming and just be wiped out.
Right.
Yeah. That's hard as a guild too, you know?
It's hard. So hard as a guild to be like, hey, we lost everything. but let's pick up and go somewhere else and try to get
Yeah.
like, if you're not a strong guild, that's usually a killer.
Yeah, that makes me
Uh,
almost wants to think like, is there going to be sides drawn type of thing, you know?
right, right.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I am looking forward to a lot is just how much time you have to put into the game and the fact that there's no shortcuts.
Mm.
It's not like you can just boom teleport there. No.
Right. Well, you
Um,
can with
you,
you can with the scientific nodes. You can
but
teleport
it's not a
between.
shortcut because the amount of
No.
time and the things you have to contribute to get to that,
Right.
it's
you
gonna
to
be
able
a while.
because it's metropolis to metropolis scientific node,
Exactly.
right? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that by then it might just be a good way to get quick reinforcements type, into the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. And I do like that fast travel element is completely wiped out. And the only ones that are actually going to excel in fast traveling is the guys that can be on the flying mounts. The 20 or so that will pretty much see.
They will reign supreme.
Yeah,
across all
for
the
like a
lands.
week. Yeah, and then their mount dies.
Right.
Yeah, but we'll see on that. That's actually really cool. I liked, so one thing that I really, really liked from the dev streams, pretty much all the dev streams, because there's no real particular one that I didn't like, but it was the art and the models that they're coming out with. And frequently, most people just want art to be, oh, thank you. I got a coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, so it was the art models. So yeah, we just don't see art models. Well, a lot of art models in dev streams and behind the scenes and stuff. So I really just like, I was just gonna say, I really like the art models that are coming from the dev streams. All the cool mounts and all the cool armors and stuff that we get to see are really fun, especially from like an artist standpoint.
Alongside that is how they're going to polish everything to line up art versus in-game stuff. Like, that's a big one to look forward to.
Art, sorry, you cut out. Art with what?
How they're going to polish everything to make the characters look good in the game.
Right, yeah. With animations, you mean? And the art? Yeah.
And
well,
spells and all
it is alpha, and you do get little animations that work a little weird. I know on the lizard, the arms and legs, the way it runs, it's really kind of stiff. It's just like, it's not really like a but yeah, that's just polishing and coming with time. I really like that the artists on the team and the animators on the team, I think they're really good at what they do. So, will you guys think Ashes will be a groundbreaking MMO and in its model per se?
Definitely.
Yes.
And what about that model do you think, or what about think about Ashes is going to be groundbreaking?
But just how they're approaching the game. I mean, if you take Blizzard or Jagex and all these other studios and whatnot, and then you compare it to Steven, he's very transparent with how the game's going, where the game is going, what they're doing. Whereas all these other ones are very hush, hush, quiet, quiet until it's time to drop the game. And even when they drop the game, it's not finished.
Right.
So, I really think that's to me, that's groundbreaking because not a lot of MMOs do that anymore. And then another part would be that just the gameplay in general. That wherever that game is going, it's definitely taking a turn outside of the box of where MMO is at right now.
Yeah. Thug, you want to comment there? Or?
Man, it's just the transparency. That's it. the fact that, just like Mel said, the fact that they've been so transparent as a game creator has really allowed the community to get behind them, and you know, is the big part of why I think they'll succeed and why they're groundbreaking. You know, to have everyone in the community be like, "Hey, they're here with you." You know, you're open to suggestions and helping out and just being that transparent kind of business plan. Just man, it works so well to help you feel like you're part of the process.
Yeah. And I think when they were first doing it, I was a little bit nervous because I felt that Steven was promising us too much. But actually seeing it in practice, I'm like, man, he's actually going to do it. I feel like not everything might get in there that he said, which I could already understood that probably wasn't the case. But everything, like the core components that they are putting in and what I've seen so far, I mean, I like it. I think it looks great. I like, because they're really, really trying new things with MMOs. They're really, with these nodes, we've never seen anything like this. A developing thing that the players contribute to in order to become the best, but then can be taken away from you. And it's all at a high competitive level. I think it's going to be really good, and I think that they have a real gem on their hands of what they've made.
Absolutely.
And then we'll go ahead and ask one more question, but what would be the deal breaker for you guys if Ash has implemented this that wouldn't make you want to play the game?
Pay to win.
Pay to win. Yeah.
I'll third that.
Once they put that in, if they do, which I doubt they will. At least I hope they don't. Yeah, that would be the one thing that really just pushes me away from the game and leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
I understand that, the game is there to make money and it's a business running it, but at the same time, it's once you add that into where people can get an advantage over you just by using their wallets, it's no longer fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say that pay to win would probably make me not want to play the game. But also, I guess if I don't know, maybe like some big exploit. I can't really think of too many things that wouldn't let me play the game. Other than that, those two.
Every game will have its exploit and just has to get fixed.
Yeah. I mean, I know that that's coming, but and they're pretty responsive to the community, and they're really engaged with the player base. So that's something that I like. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you guys all for tuning in this week. This podcast is going to be a weekly podcast. So stay tuned till next Friday. Or next time we put it out. But thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you guys for having you. I can't wait to do the next one. But
yeah, for sure.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. All right. With that, I'm wrapping it up. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Out.